of the Palau Exclusive Economic Zone. It's about 70 nautical miles away from the main island group. And that's important because the oceanography around Palau, so in this part of the Western Pacific, we have the North Equatorial Current and North Equatorial Countercurrent, basically moving across the Pacific east and westward. And then they basically bounce against the Palau Island complex, and in that interaction of this major current system interacting with this big island complex, it creates all kinds of circular eddies, we call them, just so circular features that spin off and creates all kinds of interesting features, particularly on the downwind side of the Palau Islands. So on the west side, you have all kinds of eddies spinning off, and these, some of them are ephemeral features, so they spin off and hang out for several weeks to months, retaining all kinds of higher productivity, so these are important for fishing. But here on the eastern corner, is where we have truly open ocean conditions. There's this kind of complex interplay that I was talking about between the islands and the currents. And also, you have this phenomena of the island, the mass island effect. Oh, let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's plastic.
Yeah.
Or metal.
Push in there.
Some sort of a shell?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's like copper or something.
Yeah.
It looks like a bullet casing.
Yeah. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Perhaps left over from the Second World War. Hard to tell what caliber it is. Can you put the lasers on it so you can see the size of it?
They're just out of view at the top of the screen.
Take a little bit and then I'll tilt down, yeah.
That is a big shell.
Yeah, about
That's
30 centimeters.
Yeah, that's maybe an anti-aircraft gun shell. I would think that's probably from World War II.
Good identification skills. I don't have skills for this particular area of interest.
This doesn't have a Latin name? Are
It
you
doesn't
sure?
have a
If
Latin
it's
name.
World War
Yeah, so good question. So for, we have permits basically for collecting biological and geological samples. In terms of archaeological, we do not have permits for collecting these types of artifacts. So we're going to take a good photograph here and good video documentation. But yeah, this is very interesting, and we are actually close to the last known location of several World War II wrecks, and we've been overnight mapping them.
Well, by analyzing the image too, and the size, the shape, etc., we'll be able to tell whether it's Japanese or American. Perhaps.
Is that the closest we can get? Is there any tighter zoom we can get to see if there's any markings?
Do you want to try to line up the WCA and get a
Yeah, let's try to get
good image?
And then maybe at the very base of this,
Yes.
be great to try to get.
Yes, that'd be key. If you're able to get an image of the base of the shell, there should be some identifying markings around.
So on the back side?
Correct, on the back side. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to come wide.
Here you go.
Yep. All right. Coming down.
Yeah, now if we can maybe discontinue any movements or so, like we'll probably want to get some good imagery of this.
Get the slope behind me, so
Bridge nav.
it's going to dust up a little bit, but hopefully clear.
Real clear.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary to think of that shell being fired in the heat of battle and having laid there for all these years.
So while this settles, yeah, so in the preparation for this expedition, we'd engaged a whole bunch of scientists, and including a group of archaeologists and who'd done some archival research and worked on the last known position of a whole bunch of World War II wrecks. There is one whose last known location was about 7 miles from here. This was the Asahimaru. That was a sailing vessel, interestingly enough, that was sunk by a torpedo in July of 1944. So for those of you who are familiar with World War II in this area, several very significant naval battles were fought. The most notorious ones were around the islands of Peleliu and Angar. What's less well known in the public eye is some of the battles that have happened further offshore. So yeah, over 100 naval vessels, including some very historically significant ones, were sunk further offshore, and of those have never been located. So yeah, very, very intrigued about this sighting here.
It should be possible to read markings on the base, and which would, of course, tell the marine archaeologists that the type of shell and who fired it.
Yeah, thanks for that, John. And in fact, we have on the line, hopefully is seeing this, Jonathan Womack, independent historian who has been very integral in helping plan this expedition. So hopefully you're watching this. You'll receive an email from me here shortly. And help us with any interpretations of what we're seeing.
Maybe we can.
Wow.
That's all I have for pushing in.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking
Hard to see.
Yeah.
Any mark looks blank almost. I can't see any mark. Anybody see a mark on there?
Yeah, I don't see a
No.
mark.
There's a ding on the rim that looks like a rimfire shell, perhaps, because there's no pin in the middle. Normally a big shell like that will have a pin in the middle for the firing pin to hit and ignite it, but there's nothing in the middle. I don't see any markings, and you see that little mark on the side. Perhaps it's a rimfire.
I'm just
There looks like there's
a bit more so we can.
There looks like there's a central, like it does look like there's something in the middle.
Yeah, there's like a
my eyes.
circle.
There's sort of a
I
small
see that,
circle.
May. Like a triangle or a circle? You think it's a circle?
It looks like 2 concentric circles from my eyes.
Trying to pull up the bubble cam here.
Can we zoom in any closer?
No, that's all the zoom I have.
It would be a project to do this, but we could try to get the WCA lined up and then get a closer zoom and a higher resolution image.
Yeah, I like that, Mari. We should get some good images here.
Yeah.
I'm also frantically here texting a whole bunch of our shore-based archaeologists to get them online.
Yeah.
Do you want me to zoom out so we can move closer?
Yeah, we can try it. The only issue is the butt of the shell is facing upslope, so it's
Yeah,
difficult
it
to
makes
get
it
the
hard.
WCA looking downwards at it,
Right.
but I can try.
So these are typically made of brass or copper.
It's definitely May one or the other. I would suspect it's brass.
Yeah, that's what just looking on some images online, it looks like brass.
It also may be possible to do a computer enhancement of that image that was taken, if it's not possible to get any closer to it and see it.
Yeah, the WCA is, I gotta back up in order to get it low enough.
What did how long is this shell? Did one of you say you thought it was, how long?
Yeah, I think about 30 centimeters. Is that right? So about a foot.
So it's a big one.
We should be able to get quite a bit closer right here.
Yeah.
Well, that's certainly an exciting start to the watch.
Yeah.
Very tantalizing clue about what else may be out there just beyond the lights of the Hercules. If there's one shell casing, you know there's more.
All right, want to push in there?
Yep.
Oh, come on.
Is it possible to pick it up and rotate it to get a better picture?
I don't know if we're allowed to touch it.
Yeah, we
don't
can't
have the
touch it.
We don't have the permits, yeah.
Yeah,
It cannot touch it?
yeah,
Daniel, is that-
yeah. I mean, I think we shouldn't, but let's. I don't think it would be on the other side of this. It really would be on the head there.
On the base, yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the base is where typically
So-
the markings are, and it, as
Yeah.
May said, it is some kind of an unusual marking right there in the center.
Yeah, it's definitely a circular sort of pin in the center, so.
Someone on shore will be able to identify it from these photographs. That's a remarkably good image right there. And it did not appear to be tapered at the top either, which is another distinctive feature.
You know, we can.
So yeah, we got our first confirmation here from our archaeologist ashore. So Dr. Mike Brennan just confirmed that this is definitely the case of an artillery shell. So thank you, Mike. I got a couple more people here also tuning in. And we were just talking about that, Jonathan. We were down there with Bob in the lounge talking about what we can do to increase our chances of coming across something. And,
Right. And here it is.
Mike Brennan's name came up. He was Bob's former student while we were down there. And here he is chiming in.
Does he speculate whether it's anti-aircraft or Japanese or American?
Yeah, no info right now. I'm got several texts in here. So yeah, Jake.
Or British.
Yeah.
What was that, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can start to see aspects on there.
Some kind of a mark right in the middle.
Yeah. And you don't happen to have the brush with you. Well, I know we used that in the past to brush off.
No, we do not have a brush on board right now.
Yeah. And I think let's give it one more.
Kind of looking in the bubble cam here along the left side of this thing. Looks to be like an interesting.
True.
Yeah. I think what we'll try to do is maybe if we can do one more lineup, if we can kind of move a little bit more so we're head on and just try to get even a little tighter zoom so we can see if we can see something there. And yeah, I think unless we can see a marking, yeah, we'll probably move on. But yeah, we got good imagery.
All right.
It looks like the end might be very slightly tapered. It's kind of hard to tell, like the other end.
I was just noticing that, Mang. Maybe slightly tapered. That will help with the identification.
That's great. And
Oh, we got a fish.
Hopefully the fish will stick around. I want to see the fish.
oh,
Yeah, maybe have a jelly off to the right.
Push
Oh,
back
yeah.
in. One last
Another
zoom
thing.
on this side.
That's a really good shot. Really good photograph of it.
hopefully our Jeremy's also watching that downstairs, also an archaeologist on board. Yeah, I think in terms of course of action here, Jake, I think if we can get the tightest zoom we can get on that base.
Okay.
And once that is, I'd like to do the kind of same exercise from the other side, if you know.
Okay.
Just so we have a complete view of this.
This is
Try
as tight as I can get, unless you.
I could back up a little bit and get it more straight on.
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
Do you want me to zoom out for that?
Yeah, just out a little bit. Yeah. All right. Push in there, a little more straight on.
That's all.
Yeah. It's a trade-off. Either.
Yeah. I don't know how many times in my life I wish I had just a bit more zoom.
Yeah, and one of our navigators who's not on watch here, Chris Kuznowski, just texted me a photograph of a artillery casing here that looks at least superficially resembles it, and this has several markings on it, so hopefully we can zoom in. So thanks, Chris.
Okay, I'll come around to the other side now.
Yep, I'll zoom out.
Zoom out. Yep.
So yeah, Chris has been in touch also with an expert back at home who suggested this is a 40 millimeter Bofors anti-aircraft gun casing. So thank you much, Chris, for that.
It's really cool how many eyes and brains are on this.
Yeah, thanks, John. All right, yeah, we'll try to get a good view here, and just so people know, we're gonna obviously get a good documentation of this casing, and usually when you find one, you find more. So we'll keep looking out, and we're also, as I alluded to earlier, we are somewhat close to the last known position of at least one World War II wreck, and so. We're also in the process of activating some of our protocols for underwater archaeological surveys. So
All right, you can push in there.
most important is to stop transmitting our position. And so yeah, we're kind of just preparing for that at the moment. So we're just buying a little time here, so hang tight, but it's a very exciting finding here. So yeah, for those of you who are scuba enthusiasts and have downwind Palau, there's a whole bunch of wrecks that are well known to recreational scuba divers. You can go out, but in the offshore deep waters, they have not yet been documented. Over 100 wrecks are known to have been lost in this area. All right, I think we got the best imagery we can.
Okay.
So thank you, Jake. We'll, I think we'll secure from this exercise and keep moving. And keep our eyes peeled for any more evidence here. So that's great. Thank you so much.
We have a couple of viewers saying it looks like a 75 millimeter to 76 millimeter Japanese artillery shell.
When we talk about the size of munitions, like, is it the diameter of it?
Yes, it determines the caliber. The diameter of the projectile determines the caliber.
Okay.
In this case, the 30 centimeters that you're referring to is the length, which will also give us a clue as to the. And by the way, did we measure? Well, we can measure it from the image. That how wide was the opening at the where the projectile fit?
Yeah. So at the base, it looked to be probably about 7 centimeters.
How many?
7.
7
So
at the base.
Our lasers are 10 centimeters apart, and it wasn't quite that full 10. So
at the base. And it did indeed taper a little bit, as May pointed out.
Yeah, it definitely tapered.
That's a big shell.
Yeah, and that's just a really good example here of our model of exploration here, the telepresence technology, and our doctor's on call. So,
Where was that fish?
I've been texting frantically here, and within a few seconds we got responses of a couple archaeologists that are spread different parts of the world. So thank you so much.
Oh, there's a fish. That's a different fish. Let's go see it.
Megan's had enough of archaeology. push in there.
It's a Bazazetus. It's like the one we caught on that first dive.
It looks just like it.
Mm-hmm. It might even be the same species.
Spooked. Spooked it. All right.
Bridge nav. Can we make a 40-meter move 320?
Are we zooming?
Yeah, 1 second. All right, go for zoom.
Is that a sea cucumber?
It is a sea cucumber. Isn't it fun looking? You can see right through its gut. Just hanging out.
Megan, what's the common name for that creature?
Sea cucumber. There are lots of different kinds of sea cucumbers. And this one likes to swim.
It's a pretty brittle star.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the deepest depths that sea cucumbers have been observed?
Oh, they go all the way down
They
to
go
the
down to
deepest
the-
depths, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
I
find
figured
them
they
at-
would do well in trenches, but
Oh yeah,
wasn't
they're
sure.
like trench fauna extraordinaires.
Yeah, in fact, if you start getting below 9,000 meters or so, that's really what's left. I think 90% of macrofauna at those depths are going to be sea cucumbers. So very well adapted to deep sea conditions, and that's really related to how they do their nutrition. So they eat organic matter, basically detritus, which is in high abundance, as you can see in these environments. So they're really adapted at eating things with very low nutritional value, eating large contents of it and extracting the few nutrients from it.
Might be starting to show up on yours. A minute.
Oh.
Oh, look at that hole.
Oh.
It's a nice spoke trail.
Cucumber.
Oh.
Oh yeah. It's like the other big cucumber we saw at the previous dive.
Yeah, they were really, really neat to see in the lab.
See stuff off to the left there and ahead. Maybe some
Oh man, what kind of
rocks.
samples have we collected so far?
What was that?
What kind of samples have we collected so far?
Yeah, there was an urchin and a hydroid.
On this, on this dive.
On this
Yeah.
dive,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yep, we have an urchin in the forward bio box that I don't know if the front row has been notified, is really keen to escape, so I think we
Yes.
won't be opening that box.
Fast urchin.
Very fast
Oh wow.
urchin. Got a Niskin, got a manganese encrusted rock, bamboo coral snip, probably a lepiditis, and sponge with zoanthids on a stalk.
Cool.
Let's see what else. A black coral snip, unknown species. Yeah,
Those previous watches were busy.
yeah, they were. And then Ipnops.
Ooh, Ipnops.
Yeah,
I like those. Those are fun fish. They're really cute.
yeah, we've got one of those in the slurp.
Yeah, they're easy to sneak up on. They don't have real eyes.
Yep.
Some rocks.
Bridge nav.
Some hard substrate.
Yes, can we move 40 meters 320? Roger. Is that an urchin? The little
Looks like it.
round.
Yeah, spiky.
It's like there's like a path.
Is that a sea cucumber in the
Cinema cam.
Yeah, I
in
can
the
see
bubble
it.
can? Yeah.
Another one. Do you want to have a look at the urchin?
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
All right, and push in there.
Oh no, I don't think it's an urchin.
Is it a sponge?
Uh,
Or some debris with a bunch of like hydrozoa?
I think it's a bunch of hydrozoans and
Like
like
just-
some cereanthids.
Coating some sort of substrate.
Yeah. Huh, interesting. Maybe it's like a small pebble or something that got coated and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like there's some little black specks around it, so could be a little rock.
Cool. Thanks. Would you like a DVL reset?
Sure. I'd love one. Oh.
Right on schedule at waypoint 4, starting to see some hard substrate. Crinoids,
There's a little Brisingid.
Brisingid.
Oh, a couple of anemones too.
Push in there.
There's a little tiny bryozoan.
Yeah.
Big crinoid.
It's not a crinoid. It's
Oh,
a sea star.
Oh, it
Yes,
is?
it's a
Yeah.
persingid.
Yeah, they're
Still working on my biology. So, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's a weird looking sea
It's
star.
a big sea star. Yeah.
Yeah, they get big. These ones are filter feeders, so they put their arms up in the water like that and catch stuff. So they really like outcroppings and rocks and wrecks and anything that gets them into the water column.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
we got a
a little anemone
hermit.
backpack crab.
backpack crab.
I love these ones.
That's a crab.
Pushing.
Oh, they're so cute.
It's really cute.
It looks a bit heavy.
Yeah.
It looks a little like the anemone
It's
is going
training
faster than the
for-
crab.
A larger anemone.
Just hear him say, worth it.
Crab knows it looks fabulous.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good there.
Is that a shrimp?
Yep, another long-legged shrimp. Nematocarcinus.
Sometimes it sounds like you're casting spells.
I totally am casting spells.
Got a little bit more coming up in a bit.
That looks like real rock coming up. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there's a sponge coming up. A really tall one. That looks like a Semperella, another type of sponge in the family Pheronematidae. So it is a glass sponge, and it has uniquely designed spicules that root it down into the sediment. So
Push in there.
it's made just to sit in the sediment here. Yeah, when we zoom in, you can kind of see that that framework of the spicules. It creates this sort of sieve-looking kind of texture. That's what helps the sponge filter its food. Water flows through the body of the sponge, and the animal can then grab the little particles out of the water to feed on.
Oh. All right, come on.
Bridge nav. Can we move 40 meters, 320? Thanks. Well, there's another Semperella. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, yep, just let me know. Thanks. What's on that rock, Jake? See the boulder, the big boulder, there's fuzzy.
I see the fuzzy.
Looks like it's a Chrysogorgia. Can we go for a zoom?
Yeah, 1 second. I can push in there.
And there's a, looks like there's a Stauropathes on the cobble over there too.
Sorry, just.
Oh,
Ooh.
sorry.
Well, then you can see the little squat lobster. So the squat lobster is Uroptychus. We often see them in the branches of Chrysogorgid corals. I love their arms. They like to posture with their arms out. It's super adorable. Cool, thanks.
Okay. It's a big mound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hey, it turned on. Bridge, Nav. Can we make a 30-meter move 320? Thanks. Look at all these angular rocks. We're starting to get into the slope a bit.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. That's what we've been waiting for.
I think we have a little cucumber in Atalanta's camera.
Oh yeah, it's just chilling with us. Don't get too close. It's a yyyy-mm-dd.
And while we're waiting here, just wanted to provide a little update. We've had a side chat with various archaeologists around the world that have been looking at the images of those shell casings. We did get from the National Park Service, their archaeologist Ann Noon mentioned that it does look very much like a 75 millimeter, and that they were used in the nose cannons of some dive bombers. We also have,
Daniel, could you repeat that?
so yeah, that this is it looks very much like a 75 millimeter shell, and that these types of ammunition was used in the nose cannons of some dive bombers. But yeah, there's several folks here. We also have Phil Hartmeyer from NOAA Ocean Exploration looking at them, and now, since we didn't see any markings, two separate types of ammunitions that could be as a US M18 casing or also Japanese Type 88 casing, so both kind of fit the size and dimensions.
What caliber are they saying?
Yeah, the 70, assuming that this is a 75 millimeter.
75 millimeter.
Yeah.
Either Japanese or American.
Yeah, and so we got a little side chat going here with various folks. Just wanted to acknowledge.
That's terrific.
Yeah, we had about a dozen or so archaeologists that were part of the archival research exercise of locating about 100 plus wrecks and telling us the best known location. And we've been planning all of our transits for this expedition to go around these places as close as possible and integrate that into the expedition plan. And yeah, you never know what you're going to find, but this is certainly very exciting. And
what a great illustration of the value of this telepresence and being able to bring experts from all over the world in to analyze what the Hercules is seeing and tell the world and analyze it as quickly as we have. It's extraordinary.
Absolutely.
See the little puff ball? Orange to the right of laser, left of lasers.
Oh yeah, what is that?
It's a dandelion siphonophore.
Oh, that's such a cute name.
Yeah, well, it's a cute little animal. So these guys are pretty fun because they anchor themselves to rocks. So generally we see siphonophores in the water column. And when we zoom in, you'll see the swimming bells going, and this little one just is a little sphere, and it will anchor itself to the seafloor and just hang out.
Push in for a zoom, Aaron, when you're ready. That's all right.
Sorry, did you want
It's
to
like
zoom?
a little party
Yeah, can you push
balloon.
in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
thanks.
trying to sort something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I see. The little hairs coming off.
Yeah, so those little hairs are the feeding tentacles, and then the orange are the gastrozoids, so the animals that are responsible for feeding, and then there's also the swimming bells, and those ones are not pumping right now, really, but they're at the top, and they're responsible for keeping the animal swimming and up off the bottom.
That's really cool.
So this animal is actually a colony, and each one of the zooids are responsible for one specific job.
Nice.
I really like them. I think they're cool. There's also some cool coral.
There's a cool coral up top.
Yeah, up
Come
top.
wide, and we'll peek up there.
There's a little bryozoan, that yellow branching. And there's a brittle star. And then this coral looks like it might be a hemicorallium with a snake star on it.
push in there.
Oh, it's actually zoanthids. So it was a other coral at one point, either a paragorgia or a hemicorallium, but that animal has died, and now that skeleton has been colonized by these zoanthid polyps.
All right,
Cool.
gotta keep coming up.
Yep, let's keep going. There's so much to see.
So a viewer wants to know on satellite feed 3, what are we viewing on the lower right? Looks like Hercules is mapping.
Yeah, so what we're looking at there is sonars, the outputs from a sonar system. That is on the Hercules. So our pilots typically
There's the fish.
to navigate. So Hercules and Orlando, they have a sonar, so they emit sound to basically help navigate, and it creates this really nice map of the seafloor, and that helps them with orienting and look out for hazards. But we're currently on this dive also using it as an aid to look for any debris. We earlier found a shell casing, and so we're using it to look for any other human-made debris that might be found along the trail.
This is a halosaur called Aldrovandia. We can tell this because on the tip of the nose, there aren't any scales. It looks really jelly-y, and that's typical of that genus.
What is the common name for the fish?
Halosaur.
Halosaur.
It doesn't really have a real common name because the family name is Halosauridae. They're just really cute, aren't they? They kind of have a dragon-like quality to them. Here's another one. That one's a different species.
I missed it.
The previous watch, we're seeing a number of tiny sea stars on rocks that looked like raviolis, and they were calling them ravioli stars. So they are quite interested in a collection of one of those. So if we happen to see a little ravioli star on one of these
like
rocks,
it's a goniasterid?
could be.
Cookie star?
Yeah.
They tend to look like raviolis.
Yeah, I think they did say it was not a cookie star.
Oh, okay.
But definitely named after another type of food. I think they're quite small, like just a couple centimeters.
Okay. Well, there's a brittle star that has like super short arms. That might look like a ravioli. It's called Amphiraster.
Could be. Not sure. Jeff was calling them ravioli stars.
Okay.
Sponge?
Well, if I think I want to eat it, then we can collect it. Right? I could go for some ravioli.
And I believe he said that they only live on rocks. So now that we're in such a rocky area, we might have a chance to see one.
Yeah, it might be that really tiny brittle star, which doesn't always come across as being a brittle star because its arms are super short.
Are we climbing up a seamount?
We are.
Yeah, I might add to your question. So this is a underwater mountain or seamount. We're about 70 nautical miles due east of the main Palawan Island complex, and very close to the border of the exclusive economic zone. On the other side of that is the Federated States of Micronesia. And so this is a seamount that doesn't yet have a name. It actually was not been mapped until we mapped it throughout the night. And yeah, this is all significant too, because the terrain between the main island complex and where we are, there's a Palawan trench and some really abrupt topography, and here is where you get out far enough away from the main island complex that you have true oceanic conditions, so that the island in itself has effects for dozens, if not thousands of miles, because it really disrupts the current systems around it. We are here on the upstream part of the main current system here, the north equatorial and countercurrent and north equatorial current. And we had chosen this seamount because of its, this isolation, but we had no idea of what we would find until we mapped it. So from satellite altimetry, it looked like this area was about 1,600 meters in height. That's what it showed, but when we mapped it, it's actually a little shallower. The seamount itself has a really large plateau on top, and we picked a dive track to go across 2.5 kilometers of what looked like to be the steepest topography, so we could go across various different depth ranges and habitat types. Megan, how far are we from the next waypoint?
We are about 600 meters away.
Roger that, thank you.
Well, there's a little mushroom coral up there. It's looking very mushroomy.
Push in there.
See, doesn't it look just like a mushroom? All the polyps are pulled in, so it kind of looks a little bare.
Or like an octopus.
It kind of looks like an octopus. All right, that's good. Thank you.
So I think maybe it would be worthwhile trying to collect a rock sample somewhere in this area.
Okay.
Similar to the one that we did last time, where it was still attached but kind of had some sort of weakness or crack that allowed us to break it off, would be the ideal candidate. So I've been kind of looking around for one little ledge we could break off.
Yeah, around here it looks pretty crumbly.
Yeah, we don't want one of those that are already broken, but something that's still part of the main in situ feature. Doesn't have to be right here, but we can keep our eyes open as we kind of move upslope.
So, a question for the science team. Are there any places on the ocean floor without life besides the brine lakes?
What was the question again? Without what?
Without life. Are there any other places on the ocean floor without life besides the brine lakes?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I mean, life is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's been able to adapt itself to most conditions, whether it's elevated temperatures like hydrothermal vents, freezing conditions, no oxygen conditions. There is some kind of life form. And it also begs into the question of what you define as life, which is a little bit of a complex question. You know, we biologists or scientists in general have certain definition. You know, a lot of them include that it's cellular life. Now, there are acellular forms of beings that, like viruses, that they don't have cells, but they don't reproduce unless they take over another organism. So it is a complex question, but for practical purposes, there is some form of life pretty much everywhere on Earth.
There's even bacteria that's found deep within the Earth's crust. So you can drill down and still find bacterial life.
Okay, I was just seeing something to the left, but maybe we've passed it now. That could have been a rock candidate, but
Is this a hole?
Yeah, it's a hole.
Yeah.
we can just keep our eyes peeled.
Okay.
Something that we can grab that'll hopefully break off. I think this looks pretty weathered, so if we find any little ledge that you could grab, I would bet it could probably break off.
I wonder who lives in the hole.
Just thinking the same thing.
We haven't seen any of those, have we? Like big holes like that?
No?
Yeah, as we're waiting here and just following up on that last question, maybe also wanted to hear John's thoughts here a little bit in terms of the search for life on other planets. That's, again, it's a little bit of a complex question. So, what would life look like on other planets, and what will you be looking for? The obvious things that come to mind is obviously symmetry, certain cellular structures, but also the signatures of life in terms of creating certain compounds that are in disequilibrium with the environment around them. And I know, John, you've been very involved with programs that brought science to other planets. I just love your thoughts a little bit on that too.
Yep, thank you, Daniel. You're exactly right that everywhere we look on Earth, there is life of some form. They've discovered, even drilling deep into the Earth's crust, that there's bacteria, that there's life. Everywhere we look, and everywhere we look, there's water. And life on Earth and life in the universe is going to be tied undoubtedly to the presence of water, which is why the consensus of the science community in the United States was that the most likely place we would find life beyond the first place we would find life beyond the Earth is in the oceans of Europa, the second moon of Jupiter, which has a worldwide ocean covered by a free-floating ice shell about 5 to 7 kilometers thick that has hydrothermal venting. The ocean is liquid, and the only way it could be liquid at that distance is by hydrothermal venting caused by the tidal forces flexing the planet so relentlessly because the moon as it orbits Jupiter. And on October 14th, NASA launched its largest and most complex planetary mission ever, one that I was very proud to have played a role in helping make happen from my role as the chairman of the Commerce Justice Science Committee. The Europa Clipper mission launched at 12:05 p.m. October 14th will be at Jupiter and Europa in 2030, and will begin to unlock the secrets of life on other worlds beyond Earth.
Right here. Polka dots.
I know, it's so pretty.
Yeah, thanks for that.
What is it,
John.
Megan?
It's a sea cucumber.
We've seen so many sea cucumbers.
There's just been such a variety of them.
See a little something on the other side. See the little.
Yeah,
Yellow.
it's a bryozoan or a moss animal.
Any idea of a finer scale ID, Megan?
So this is in the family Synallactidae, and that's as far as I can go.
Nice.
Oh, it's got a little, what is that, a little polychaete or something on it?
Oh yeah, there's a little scale worm on there.
Scale worm.
Yes, it is a polychaete.
I got it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes.
Over on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that common that polychaetes will live on sea cucumbers? We've gotten a few polychaete associates with our previous collections.
Yeah, I've seen them hang out on sea cucumbers quite a bit.
I wonder what kind of relationship that is about.
I don't know.
Megan, what do the sea cucumbers eat? Are they extracting nutrient from that mud on the bottom, the dendritis?
Yep,
Come
yep.
right
They
there.
just eat the sediment and extract all the organic matter from there. So they're like little vacuum cleaners of the deep.
It's very cold down where they are right now. This water temperature where we are now, we're at 1,966 meters, and the water temperature is 2.25 degrees centigrade. Life moves very slowly down here.
Is that 30 meters you call it?
Yeah. Thought I'd make a little bit bigger jump. I thought it was going to be more vertical before, so I...
Yeah, it was for a second.
Yeah, and so I was like,
Hot
oh,
second.
let's do a small jump. Be conservative.
Yeah, just following up on your question there, John. So sea cucumbers play a really important role in the nutrient cycle. They extract nutrients that are in the sediment. So sediment is a very low nutritional value, but sea cucumbers eat large quantities of that and are able to sustain themselves. There's about 1,800 species of sea cucumbers found in all oceans. They're closely related to sea stars and urchins, a group of animals known as the echinoderms. So they have 5-sided symmetry, but they look different than sea stars and those.
They're cucumber?
That they're tubular in shape, so you'd have to look at them in cross-section to see that 5-sided symmetry. And they are the dominant macrofauna, so large organisms and at deeper depths, so below about 9,000 meters, 90% of what you see that you could see with your naked eye are going to be sea cucumbers. They're also quite interesting in terms of life history. They can change their shape dramatically, so they can kind of liquefy and harden their body. Kind of in some of the alien movies you might have seen in terms of like squeezing under a door And that sea cucumbers could do that. They can really change their shape completely. Also common food items in a lot of Asian Pacific cultures.
And they're found all the way down to the deepest parts of the ocean,
That's
Daniel?
correct, yep.
Professor Jeff Drazen, one of the lead scientists on the mission, pointed out to me last night that there are no fishes found below 8,200 meters. That's it. That's the precise limit beyond which fish cannot exist. But the sea cucumbers clearly can.
Do you know what fish can reach 8,200 meters?
He did not mention, but I would suspect some of the rat tails that we saw on some of the earlier dives. That and he said it's a highly specialized type of fish that, based on their chemistry of their body and their cells, are able to reach that depth. But that's it. They have not evolved the ability to go beyond 8,200 meters, and it's especially remarkable and a great illustration of the genius of scientists and the importance of scientists talking together freely, openly, sharing ideas and their experiences, that Jeff came up with this idea after bumping into another scientist in the hallway, and they just got to talking about it after bumping into each other, and between the two of them figured out one of the fundamental structures of life in the sea, that fish cannot exist below 8,200 meters. That profound discovery was the result of a chance encounter of two brilliant scientists bumping into each other in a hallway. It's so important for scientists to get together and share ideas freely, openly, to share information in an open environment and spark off each other.
Yeah, absolutely, John. So that's really a big part of the model, how we do work here on Nautilus, the importance of interdisciplinary science and knowledge. We all have our own expertise, but when you combine all that, that's where the real magic happens. If you think about the great universities around the world, they're not just known for having a great English department or a great math department or a great economics department. They have experts in all the different fields, and when you get people from different fields working together and they all have a slightly different insight, that's where you have the great breakthroughs, and that's how we try to design these missions, is with input from different disciplines, including traditional knowledge and traditional ecological knowledge. Is very important in many cultures here in the Pacific. Western science in some of these cultures is somewhat of a recent introduction, but great navigators navigate across the Pacific using the skies, the winds, the currents to orient themselves, and a great amount of knowledge as part of that. So there's so much different knowledge, and by combining that, that's where the magic happens.
Looks like it was a snailfish.
Yeah, the deepest known living fish is a liparrot or a snailfish.
Snailfish?
Snail. Like
Snail.
like a little
Snailfish.
snailfish.
Okay.
Yeah. But we also have snailfish in shallow water as well. So obviously very different species, but it's kind of interesting how a group of fish can be found in the shallowest of waters and the deepest of waters. Bridge, Nav. We would like to move 30 meters, 320. Thank you.
So we have a question that just came in. A viewer wants to understand how these observations and samples from this expedition, how will that help with the Palau's conservation and management?
Yeah, it's a very good question and a complex one. I mean, the simple one is that you can't really manage what you don't understand, what you don't know. There's actually an ongoing process right now, so we've been talking on the live streams that Palau had this very ambitious work, one of the most ambitious conservation efforts in creating the Palau National Marine Sanctuary, closing 80% of their exclusive economic zone to commercial activities. There's currently a marine spatial planning process underway, and that is not just about conserving it, it's about sustainably managing 100% of what you own. You need to know where places are that are highly biodiverse, what are some of the most vulnerable ecosystems, so you can put the most restrictive regulations on those places. You want to make sure you protect the places that are more special, most vulnerable. So just identifying ecosystem species and habitats that are of high conservation value, that's one aspect. And then just, yeah, it's basically just baseline knowledge too. The vast majority of this Palau National Marine Sanctuary hadn't been studied below the sea surface. So obviously with satellites we can take a look at what's at the sea surface, but in deep waters, these are some of the first observations. All the 16 sites that we'll be diving on this expedition have never been surveyed. And so this baseline of information is really important.
There.
So this is a sea pen, and there's a snake star on it. And the sea pen is rooted in the sediment. I'm not sure of the genus of this. Do you have any ideas, Daniel?
I'm looking at a couple of things. I think Funiculina, is that some?
That sounds like a possibility, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know this group
Yeah.
very well.
They're hard. These ones are really hard. Be nice to have a sea pen specialist. I feel like when I've seen Funiculina before, it's been in the Atlantic or in colder surface water areas. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't find it here. Would we want to collect something like this?
Yeah, I think if we're set up to do so. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some photographs taken at Wake Island, so which look like this, but yeah, there's certainly,
Okay.
to the best of my knowledge, this has not been recorded here from Palau.
Okay.
So if we're set up to do so, pilot, we'd like to go ahead and do that.
We can do sample.
Yeah, we could probably slurp it. You think?
Yeah, I think so. Like snip it and...
Well, it might just pull out, but if you can snip it, that'd be good too.
Okay.
Let me know if you need some zoom.
Yeah, you can push in a little bit there. That's good. came out.
Yep. That's how you know it's a sea pen. It looks kind of like the tip of a pen.
You can come on.
Yep.
There. Sarah, can you tilt down the camera so I can see the suction? It is a bit long. Do you think it'll go through the suction?
I don't know. We could probably just slip it into the box like we were doing yesterday. Just kind of open it a little bit. Kind of stick it in.
And that way you're sure it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we get it stuck in the tube.
It makes collecting other samples hard.
So I think we don't want to open that forward box.
The urchins there. Yeah.
Well, if I remember when we were doing it the last dive where we just opened it a little bit and just stuck the things in.
I just have this imagination of the urchin
we
ready to go.
We had a very adamant warning from the previous watch that the urchin is quite determined to get out of the box. So
let's put it in the starboard box.
I think starboard would be safer.
I have a hard time imagining this. Like,
I
really
do too. I'm just relaying the message from the previous watch.
Worth the risk.
So the urchin is really aggravated and wants out of that box.
I have on all caps, urchin wanting to escape, don't open box message.
Urchin warning, do not open box.
In the starboard side, if it's possible, any of the three most aft little boxes, so B, C, and D are available.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can double up.
Can switch over to the sample. There. Okay.
I think urchin warning and sea cucumber city are two of my favorite expressions to come out of this expedition so far.
Maybe go for one of the smaller back ones.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Isn't there something in that one?
Oh.
In the forward one,
Forward
yes.
one, yes.
So
Okay,
any of the
excellent.
three aft ones, yep. Nice.
Oh, all right.
Great. That went in B, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
No, what's the sample number?
This is 55.
55.
That's great. Yeah, great collection.
All right. Switch back.
Yep.
Yeah. So once we get here situated, I think we'll start making our way, continue up the slope here, try to get some headway towards the next waypoint.
And for those people watching, we're at 1,953 meters, and the top of this seamount, Daniel, is expected to be at about 1,500 meters.
Yep, that's correct. So yeah, we'd set up a pretty ambitious track, 2.5 kilometers. I think we should be able to make that. It's not quite at the summit, almost. We basically try to pick a track that goes over the steepest terrain and the biggest differences in terrain so that we can survey and sample a variety of different habitats. Yeah, I just wanted to circle back just on Imada's very important question there about how the information that's collected here on the Lebu's voyage expedition. I'll pause here for a second. Yeah, so the very important question about how this information helps Palau manage its sanctuary and its waters. All the data and the information that we collected here is going to be handed over to Palauan authorities, and that's part of Yeah, the importance of this is obviously very logistically challenging and difficult to do this type of work, so we want to make sure that the data collected fuels future management research and
There's
exploration
a brown
activities.
something on the rock over to the left. Yeah, let's
So
look at that one.
So the first thing is obviously understanding where your places are that are most important ecologically and protecting those with more restrictive measures. So there's this common misconception that marine protected areas are all the same. Typically marine protected areas have zones, so places where there's more restrictive measures at least. So that's one. So basically putting policy into place to conserve your more special places. It's like Stauropathes.
And this other thing is a Culeolus, a type of tunicate.
Yeah, that's great.
Type of what?
Tunicate or sea squirt.
Sea squirt.
Mm-hmm.
Moving around.
And this brown thing is a black coral. And you might ask yourself, why are you colorblind? And that's the name of the common name comes from the color of the skeleton, not the color of the tissue. And so traditionally this type of deep sea science that we do hundreds of years ago wasn't done with high-powered and highly advanced robots, but by dragging nets on the bottom of the ocean and then bringing up what you found. And so a lot of times in the past, what you collected, it would take many hours, if not days, to come up onto deck. And by then, most of the organisms that you collected had completely disintegrated, lost their tissues, and looked very different. And so,
Oh, there's a bamboo.
so a lot of taxonomy still is kind of rooted in things that evolved hundreds of years ago, and the importance of having this high resolution video and seeing what these organisms look like in their natural environment is really important.
Quick zoom here.
There's some squat lobsters on there. They're having a party. So this is an unbranched bamboo coral. Has really long spines, I think, in between the tentacles. So it could be like the Lepidopsis that we collected earlier.
See the lobsters? There they are.
Yep. They're pretty fun.
They do not like that bright light.
I think they're just trying to get their balance from us looking a little close here. Oh, that's a great photo.
Yeah, I was posing like Rocky Balboa there for a second.
Yeah, they're always like, waving their arms in the air like they just don't care.
That's like inside the camera.
Yeah, I think that's good.
All right, come on.
That'll make a great photo for when we do our video annotation.
Megan, I love your story the other day about the crab that carries objects on its back, and some of them carry anemones, some carry other things, and you saw one carrying a piece of garbage on its back, like a teddy bear.
Yeah, they have, so the homolids have a specialized pair of back legs that they use to carry things. And so they usually pick an object, usually a coral or a piece of sponge, sometimes an anemone, and carry it around as a way to kind of blend in with its surroundings and deter predation events.
And their common name is?
Carrier crab.
That's it. We all have to keep an eye open for May for a piece of basalt that could be cracked off freshly.
Yeah.
Is that right, May?
Yeah, that's right. And we're getting back into a region where there might be some good candidates.
Yeah, just for context there, why we want to take a rock sample. We want to take one that is in place, so make sure that what we're collecting didn't come elsewhere, was dropped, rolled down the slope. So we want to make sure that the rock sample is volcanic rock, and that represents the feature that you're sampling it from. And that sample would be for age dating, for trying to understand the geological age of this feature. So the main Palawan Island complex, as far as I know, have been dated to about 14 million years ago, but yeah, the seamounts around have not.
Is that an eel or a fish?
It was a fish.
Yeah,
It's
like
a halosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was Aldrovandia. You could see right through its nose.
Is there a common name?
It's just halosaur.
A tail like a whip.
Yeah, they're long, thin, eel-like fish. They're very common in these areas. So their name means salt lizard.
Salt lizard?
Mm-hmm.
And common enough that Jeff would not want one.
Yeah, well, that's not a group that we study or that he's actively studying. Also, they're very, very fast and very hard to catch. And we know what they are, so.
Megan, we have yet to encounter an animal that you did not recognize and know, which is extraordinary, except for the one in Sea Cucumber City the other night that had the spikes all over its body and was as clear and translucent as plastic and kind of spherical with spikes, thick spikes coming out.
Yeah, that one was weird. I think we determined that it was a sea cucumber, possibly in the family Solidae, but still unsure of the ID on that animal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really neat to see in the lab. When we saw it on the seafloor, we thought it had 9 arms, but indeed it had 8 plus this, what's it called, Megan? The sort of protrusion upward that a sea cucumber has?
The velum?
Yes, this. So that was very obvious in the lab, but more difficult to see on the seafloor.
Yeah, the Solidae sea cucumbers are these really specially modified animals to they're actually sessile and filter feeding, as opposed to our, average everyday sea cucumber that, walks around the seafloor and gobbles up sediment. So that they're kind of a tricky animal. The first time I saw one of those, I was stumped. I didn't know what it was. I was like, well, it's not an anemone, but it's not anything I know of, because it's got this like crazy branching, feeding appendages. And then it was brought to my attention that it was a sea cucumber, and I was still like, what? What do you mean? That's so crazy. It just didn't look like anything I had ever seen before. So, the longer you do this job and watch these types of videos, you'll come upon things you don't know, but eventually you'll start making connections and being able to see the similarities between animals you've seen previously. Even if they're new to you, you can get to, a family level or maybe a genus level.
Yeah, that occurrence was the first time I've seen a sessile sea cucumber. And for those who don't know what sessile or motile means, who are listening, sessile just means it stays in one place. Motile means it moves around. And it's often how we talk about different strategies for animals to feed and whether or not they'll be attached in one place or moving around.
fish.
Oh, a fish. What kind of fish are you? I'm thinking cusk eel.
Yeah. Oh,
Push in.
Oh. Oh, yep, definitely a cusk eel.
Looks like a large tadpole.
It does.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Acanthonus armatus. It's really shallow for that fish.
And he looks very primitive and ancient with that skull.
Yeah.
Did you say they're pretty shallow?
So the fish, I think it is. This is like pretty shallow to be seeing it. But it definitely looks like Acanthonus armatus. It's a type of cusk eel.
May, what about that rock right behind the fish? You see the top part of the rock looks like it's got a piece that's starting to break off that might be small enough for the arm to get a hold of?
I think these rocks look a little bit too weathered and almost more like conglomerate.
Yeah, they're kind of altered.
Yeah. I think I regret that my first mention of looking for a rock that we didn't spend a couple minutes in that zone, because that would have been really the kind of most ideal area.
We ran out of that rock zone pretty quickly. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll encounter another one, we hope.
We might. We're starting to get more shallow, but we know for next time when we see a good exposed rocky basaltic in situ outcrop, we should take a moment to
I remember
look around.
growing up in Houston and as an avid fan of the space program that the first thing that
Right,
Apollo
come on,
astronauts would do when they stepped off the limb was to get a rock sample immediately, as soon as they step on the lunar surface.
We just had a request from Jeff to zoom on the head to look at the head spines.
All right.
If we can do
A
that.
little bit closer.
And he agrees it's an Acanthonus.
Okay.
Yep.
John, you didn't ask me what the common name was.
Oh, that's coming. I was going to ask. What's the common name
Push
for
back
that
in.
tadpole fish?
It's this is the weirdest common name that I know of. It's called the bony-eared ass fish.
Bony-eared.
Ass fish.
That's what you said.
That is what I said.
I just want to be sure.
The hesitation.
Okay. Urchin warning and then bony-headed.
Bony-eared ass
Eared.
fish.
Oh, bony-eared. I got it. Bony-eared.
Nice one.
Yes, and we have another scientist ashore, Kenneth Sulak, agreeing the idea is correct. It's an Acanthonus armatus, which has a broad depth range. Lower slope to upper abyss.
Yeah, we usually see this one deeper. But
He says that this fish has the smallest brain-to-body ratio of any vertebrate.
yep, that is a fun fact about this fish.
That's quite the record to have.
I think
And he looks it. Is he rare enough that Jeff wants fish as a sample?
I don't think Jeff will want this one.
yeah, I think we just want to get some good video.
Yeah,
good
that was some great
zoom.
video of
What?
it.
Yeah, yep, he agrees. No need to collect. That would be a tricky collection anyways.
Shrimp. Another fish.
Another little fish. That's a different fish. think this might be a rat tail. Yeah, you can see the dorsal fin.
It's fast.
Yeah, they're really fast.
Push in quick.
But they're super cute.
Yeah. Keep startling it. Too fast.
Yeah.
No picture for you.
Is that pink spot a... What is that?
Quick zoom there.
Yeah, just to find out. Is
What
it
it
a
is?
black coral? Yeah, it's a
Yep.
black coral. All right,
Okay.
cool, thanks.
Come on.
It was just kind of blurry before and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Try to get up this slope.
Bridge, nav. Can we move 30 meters, 320? Thank you.
That looks like a pretty good rock field right there, May.
Yeah, maybe. It's still looking a little bit weathered, but the one that we just saw was the best we've seen so far. We can keep our eyes peeled as we come up slope here. You might see something more exposed.
And here we're looking at a cliff that's nearly, looks almost vertical. Very, very steep slope. Is that correct?
It's pretty vertical, yeah. You can see it.
Wasn't sure if it was optical illusion or not, but it really looks steep.
Yeah. That's how we know we're on a mountain.
Yeah, maybe up to the right we'll start to see some good looking rocks.
That's a good piece of basalt. This has got to be basalt, don't you think?
Yeah, so let's see what comes into view here.
There we go.
Yeah, these look
Good
better.
looking rock.
Okay.
It's a big one.
That's a good
what
one.
about the one just in the top left corner of the screen? I'm not near the telestrator, so I can't. Here, let me see if I can, like, something around there. Do you think you could, is that too big to grab?
That's huge.
That looks
Yeah.
just like that one. That's probably too big. Maybe we
Looks
can,
like the sharp top of it's coming awful close.
maybe we can just sort of go around this feature a little bit and see if we see a better.
What about that sharp tip, May? Look how it's got a crack right through the top of it.
Here?
There's a crack right through the top of that thing, and the top looks kind of angular.
You mean this right there? The last one that we collected, we had good success. It was a perfect size to grab, and it was still attached, but had a little crack, so it came off really easily. Or even something like that little ledge there.
Really a tough one.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Looks like we might be getting more rocks upslope too. We don't see a good candidate here.
All right, coming up.
So a bit of a technical question. How strong are the manipulator arms to be breaking off rock samples?
What about like a little edge of that?
On the top, on the tip.
Yeah, do you think you could get a manip on that and try to see if
Sure.
there's a crack, it might break off. Otherwise, maybe like that over there. It's pretty big, so I don't know. Yeah. So I think either this, or this would be good candidates.
Okay. Poke it, see what happens.
Or even like down there. Looks pretty attached.
Yeah.
Maybe try that lower one.
Lower one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
If you think it looked pretty attached when you tried grabbing it, you can try again if you want.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just moving the vehicle.
Yep. Yeah, if it didn't have a little crack or fracture, that wouldn't be something we could grab
Where was
off.
the other spot you were looking?
Here or yeah,
I could reach down
this
there.
little one, or maybe like just any of the kind of edges around there, or up there. I think that, yeah, that lower one is probably the easiest. It's a bit weathered, but
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
yeah, it looks a little bit too attached. Oh,
I saw it move
yeah,
a little.
that moved a bit. Nice. That looks like it's gonna come off.
Nope. Crumbled.
Oh,
I know.
That might be gone now. I
uh,
don't know.
might be tricky to tell which one it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are also quite weathered, unlike the ones we saw earlier, so
All right.
yeah.
Try moving on a new spot.
Yeah, I think we can move on from here.
Okay.
Maybe if we can look a little bit to the left, that sort of outcrop to the left.
Okay.
But yeah, it's too bad we didn't get one from that earlier area. That would have been more ideal. Yeah, maybe like something around here, but might face a similar issue.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, looking in the WCA up off to the left even further, that looks. Yeah, what about that feature up there? Looks like a bit less weathered. Just
Up here, you're talking?
yeah. Let's see if there's something around here. Not seeing something. Well, maybe like, I don't know if you can grab some of that. I don't know. This doesn't look like really ideal. But
Yeah. It's all gonna be
yeah.
kind of difficult.
Yeah. So that's all right. If we can't make it work, we can keep on moving. What do you think about that actually? Like,
The tip right there. Yeah.
I mean that might be really attached, but if there's a little fracture, it might come off. Could do one more effort and then keep moving.